Alright, so the bike's together, rear wheel on, gas tank's on, new fuel stuff's hooked up. Now, I'm going to try and start it, but the thing is I don't have a choke cable, so it might be hard to start, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, there was a wire going to the starter solenoid that wasn't in, so let's see what happens now. Cool. It'll start. Oh, I wish I had choke. Well, now I know it'll start, it's just I need choke. I don't have choke. So let's see if the pump can fill the bowls up a little bit. Just let it, let's see what happens now. We're close, we're so close, I just need choke. Ugh. I think the battery's dying again. Yep. I need choke. I gotta be able to choke this stupid thing. Otherwise I'm just gonna keep burning the battery out. I gotta figure out a way to do this without a choke cable. Alright, so the battery isn't completely charged up yet, but I'm going to, the two cables coming from the choke, I'm going to manually just pull them, which activates the choke, and see if the bike likes that or not. I want to make sure I'm on the right track. Where'd you go? There it is. Pull you guys out. See what we got. Not much better. Might as well just charge the battery up. Try it again. Alright, so the battery's a little bit better charged. It's not fully charged yet, but it's, you know, it's pretty well charged. Enough for me to give it a few cranks and see if I did anything good. So I assume that it was flooded because I was cranking it so long with no spark. So I went ahead and took all the spark plugs out, shut off the fuel, opened up the butterflies, and just cranked it a few times to kind of air out the cylinders. And then I changed the oil. I kept the spark plugs out, changed the oil, and there was almost no oil in it, so I'm sure it's going to love me now. And gapped the spark plugs. They were a little small. I mean, obviously that's not going to be the reason for erratic spark, but you know, it'll like it. It'll spark a little bit better. So, you know, let's see. I'm going to try it without choke for a few times and then put the choke on and see what, you know, by hand like before, and see what happens. Fuel is on. Pump is on. Let's go. Now I'll give it a little choke. Drop it. gonna be choked. So close. It wants to go so bad. Let's try to choke again. Some more gas in. See if that does anything. Wants it. Wants to be my buddy. Wants to do the dirt bag. Come on, buddy, let's do the dirt bag. Well, I'm going to assume this is because of choke and maybe a bad bat. But let's see if I can. That one likes to backfire. Alright, I'm done with that. Shut up, fuel flow. Let's see if I'm getting spark. I'm going to assume at least one of them is getting spark because I'm getting a backfire. But I just want to be sure that I'm not doing more work than I have to here. And I still haven't solved the problem of no spark. So let's see. I got spark there. Spark there. Spark there. Spark there. So I got spark. Definitely got spark. But it just don't want to start. I think a lot of that has to do with choke. Because it's dead cold. And, yeah. It's just a cold bike. And it's not exactly warm, obviously. So, I assume that the majority of my problems are because of choke. So, I gotta wait probably until Tuesday. Yeah, probably till Tuesday until the choke cable comes in. It's not going to give me a whole lot of time, so. Maybe I should check whether or not I'm getting fuel. Yeah, I assume I am. But I mean, I got spark, that's for sure. And I assume I'm getting fuel. Let's take a look. Compression, it's got that. It ran before, obviously. So, and I did make changes to the fuel system, so I'll look there. See what's going on with fuel. Hopefully there's nothing wrong, but hopefully there is, so that, you know, it'll be a simple fix. So there's definitely fuel in the bowls, so it's getting fuel. Now the carbs are clean because I didn't do anything to them since it started last. So I am getting spark, but it might be weak spark. And I've been told by a few, well, not told, but I've read a few places that these things, much like all old Hondas, like will not start with anything other than a full battery. So the solution for now, unfortunately, is to sit and wait. Alright, the battery is fully charged. Had it charged all night. So let's see if it does anything without, I'll give it a few cranks without choke. Let's see what happens. Check on now. I gotta see if it charges. I didn't do that. Cool. I'm gonna put it down and see if it rides. First things first, I wanna. What's that sound? Yeah, I wanna lean it up a little, or rich it up a little bit. Just because I assume it's lean. I don't know it's lean. But it usually is after all that work. So, this one's right here. Smaller one. Yeah, there's a lot of crap on this bike. Oil, old gas, schmutz, just general schmutz. So. Where saw it. No, it isn't. Was this all the way in? Alright, let's put this thing down. See if we can't get it out of the shop. I guess first I want to see if the clutch works. That'll be pretty easy. Obviously, just... Oops. I don't spill any oil. Or any more than I already have. Okay, just slap the seat on for now. Might go with 2-inch springs. I think I have enough room. Almost went into first. Let's try it again. Okay, it is going in. It's just dragging a lot. Let's just keep massaging it. See if I can get a better result. I mean, it doesn't need to be adjusted because it's hydraulic, so it adjusts itself. What I think I might have to do is I might have to re-bleed it. If I gotta do that, I gotta do that. I got a leak from the master cylinder. Where's it coming from? Yeah, it's coming from over here. The master cylinder's leaking.
Garbage. War. What did I tell you about making all that noise?
Yeah. I'm gonna give it one more try, and then I'll see if Sorry, I haven't had my coffee yet. If I just need to re-bleed it, and if I have to, well, that's not a big deal. Yeah, it's dragging. So, the next step in the process is to re-bleed my clutch. But it runs. That's pretty good. Obviously pretty happy about that. Oh, this bike is still heavy. And after all that crap I took off it, it's still heavy. Okay, I need to get more brake fluid. Alright, I re-bled the clutch. Let's see if it works any better. I sure hope it does. A little bit. It's a little bit better. I'll give it that. Slightly better. Oh, stuck on the car now. There we go. There we go. Give myself a little bit more space this time. It's still creeping, but not as much as it was. I wonder. Let's try it again. I think it's getting better. Creeps a lot. It shouldn't creep at all. Well, I guess I'll bleed it again. I mean, there's not a whole lot of things that could be wrong here. I know it's not the clutch itself. I know it's not the clutch plates or anything like that, because I looked at them. And they're all in good shape. So, the only thing that could still be is the clutch cylinder, master cylinder. So I'll give it another try. Alright, let's see if the third time is a charm. No. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to ride the bike a little bit and just see if just by riding it, the clutch will get a little bit better. Maybe it's oil just needs to circulate in the engine a little bit and get the plates lubricated. I'm going to assume that's what it is, because that clutch master cylinder is definitely bled perfectly. There's no air coming out of that thing. So I'm going to assume that that's what it is. It just needs to be ridden around a little bit. And yeah, we'll see. Or maybe I have to look at the type of oil I put in it. I put in just regular old AutoZone 10W40. Maybe there is a 100% specific type of oil I need to use, like some sort of a synthetic, maybe. If that's the case, you know, I just got to do an oil change, no big deal, but I'm going to pull this thing out. So a quick little update. Still not running the way I wanted as far as the clutch is concerned. I think I just need to change it for some motorcycle oil. I was using regular oil, and I think I just need to use motorcycle oil. I think that'll solve it for me. I got seafoam in the tank because it was spitting back a little bit of black soot, and then I also did a coolant change, so I'm just letting it idle for a while. Things are looking up. Seafoam's in there, so it's smoking like crazy, but you know, there's no hesitation on or off the throttle. Everything feels good. But I still can't ride it because of that clutch thing. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go get some motorcycle oil instead of, I got car 10W40 in there. I'll go get some motorcycle 10W40 in there, and hopefully the clutch will feel better. Usually, you know, on my experience, I can get away with using car oil. But I think with this one, I got to use the motorcycle oil. I think that's just the end of it. So I'll go hopefully find a shop that's open on a Sunday and get that. Coolant is flushed. New coolant's in there. Fan turns on so it cools correctly. The gauge, temp gauge works correctly. Doesn't overheat. Fan kicks on and turns off when it's supposed to, so that's good. So I got some super clean on the wheels, cleaning them up. So I'm going to take that rear wheel off at least and try and paint that today. And then, what else? Maybe paint the front. And then try and clean up the engine a little bit and get that going right. So a few more little things to do, but man, we're home stretch. There's not a whole lot left to do here. It's awesome. Sun's starting to come down on Sunday, so I got to start tying things up a little bit here. So here's the rear wheel. I'm taping it because I'm going to paint the inside of this green. And I was going to paint the rims itself, the rim. But after I cleaned it up a little bit, getting it ready to paint, I mean, just look at that. Like, it just looks so nice. I'm just going to keep it chrome and just paint the inside of here, all this green, and see how it looks. So I'm doing that, and then I cleaned up the rest of the rear, the hub. I mean, look at that. It looks so good now. So I'm gonna paint these black, repaint them black, and that should tie up the rear end real nicely. And I'm also changing the oil again. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We're in a drought, but you pick now to start raining on me when I'm supposed to be painting shit. Well, you know how things were looking up? They're not looking up anymore. The clutch is not working at all. It's not dragging, it's not slipping, it's just as soon as I put it into gear, it dies. I don't think there's a kickstand switch on an 84. I need to confirm that, but I don't think there is, because that's pretty much how it's acting, is as soon as I put it in gear, it just straight up dies. So what I've done is I've, you know, bled the clutch a million times, rebuilt the slave cylinder, and you know, put the clutch back together a few times. So I'm consulting the good people of HondaShadow.net, hoping that they can help me find a solution in time, because it's Tuesday and I only have until Sunday. On the plus side, look at how nice that rear wheel looks, man. Ooh-wee. Looks good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the frame and try and figure out why the rear brake light isn't working anymore, because it just stopped working. It might have burned a bulb out or something. I don't know. I gotta figure that one out while I wait for a response on that stupid clutch. Well, the brake light was an easy fix. The bulb was burnt out. I had another one of these LED guys lying around, and I put it in there, and thankfully it fit. I'm using the same one over here on my bobber. It was kind of doing the same sort of, well, on this one it was like getting basically too hot. Oop, battery exhausted.